Laying down my cards right away, but this one's crap. Frustratingly crap actually, as you'll soon see. So, story. A class of generic school groups are all isekai'd and pick their abilities. The one guy outside of these groups whose isekai'ization was delayed gets bundled with all the remainder abilities nobody wanted. But get this, it turns out he's the strongest.
No way!
And as it turns out, the only one who could actually do anything. The first section, as I refuse to say arc, concerns our hero effortlessly building his skills and house before escorting all the girls through the woods to the town. How do they even know there's a nearby town? Well, that's because they literally acknowledge they've been isekai'd, and that's just what happens in isekai. This plot is so unbelievably generic, even the characters know they're following the same script. No notable events happen in this section, and they arrive at the town, beginning the next section. This is where a powerful protagonist who easily killed dangerous wolves is rejected by the guild because he's too low a level, despite him being vastly more capable than any one of these guys. There's also seemingly no way for him to level up here. So how the hell can anyone possibly level up to become adventurers in this town? Oh, but the girls who can barely fight are perfectly fine to be adventurers. That makes sense. Understandably driven to leave this horribly generic town, our protagonist eventually sneaks out but discovers a carriage being attacked, and reluctantly saves the civilians inside, which so happens to be the princess of the town. In return, she gives him a token so now he can leave. He does, and finds the jocks, who've been beaten up by the antagonist of the show who easily killed the other big bad group. Our protagonist waits for him to show up, and easily defeats him, thus ending the only antagonist in the show and the entire story till now. Hence the anime decided to contrive a new threat. Suddenly, a bunch of orcs start marching to the town, which scares everyone, but is instantly defeated by our protagonist. The anime then really contrives our protagonist to head into the dungeon, and further contrives the rest of the school to follow him, and further contrives him to fall to the very bottom. He then easily beats the main boss by dealing with the evil spirit possessing her, and she joins his side now. So now that plot is over with. But oh no, a sudden stampede erupts from the dungeon and is heading for the town. The adventurers assemble outside of the goddamn walls and defeats Wave 1. Knowing they have to defeat the main boss, the guildmaster tells the princess to run past all the monsters to tell our gang about it, but decides it's too dangerous, so gives her a bodyguard who could have done the job himself. Good grief, this anime's stupid. This all happens while our hero's advancing up the dungeon with Boss Empress, which should have taken an entire day to do. But ignoring all that, the second wave of the stampede arrives, which is many times larger than the group of orcs, and all the adventurers fucking stand there while this one absolute legend takes them on by himself.
For Frodo.
So our hero finally meets up with the rest of the school and easily kills the indestructible Sphinx because he just so happened to have the right negating items. So now they go through the convenient exit door, giving a terrible throwaway line for that, and we see the third wave. Whoa, this is literally insane. It's like the creators lent on the pace key for half a week. As they approach, Boss Empress stabs her sword and disappears them all. I really hate this show, but even I was disappointed by this massive anticlimax. You can't just create one of the largest armies in isekai, then poof them away without any effort whatsoever. So that's the story done, but the anime insists on spending an extra episode on Boss Empress shyly loving our hero. Oh yeah, she turned human again, because our hero stumbled upon the exact items she needed. So yeah, I think we can conclude with all the contrivances and sudden plot beats, the writers had no bloody clue of what they were writing. The draw of the show, if it had any, was of the different school groups being dropped into this world. But not only did they do nothing, midway through they became entirely irrelevant. It's the protagonist who kills the evildoer, the protagonist who kills the orc threat, the protagonist who defeats the boss empress, and the protagonist who defeats the Sphinx. Other than the Empress poofing away the ungodly massive army, no one else does anything. And yet almost all of them berates our hero for all these incredibly useful actions. Even the guildmaster and princess tear into him after he literally saved their lives from the orcs. You know, characters who lack any shred of gratitude and ridicule someone for no reason is really endearing. Well, that might be aiming a little high, as to be endearing means to actually have a character, and only a mere handful of these guys qualifies. Head Gossip Girl had a blip of a character when she felt guilty towards the nerds and wanted to apologise to them. At least until she did exactly that and became part of the background girls, like someone being dragged into the Grey Goo scenario. We're repeatedly told Boss Empress was alone for a long time, so is internally grateful towards the protagonist, but is also very shy as a result. It ain't much at all, but I'll take what I can get at this point. And last and definitely least, the jocks, who are brave, kind, actually God forbid grateful, and do indeed struggle when doing the right thing. Shame they are barely in it, unlike our protagonist, who, not to mince words, is completely insufferable. He constantly bangs on about how everyone else is lame, constantly putting others down, constantly spouting how he just wants to be left alone, is reluctant to save people, and is constantly whining.
考えると異世界なんてめんどくさい。
腕力に変わって
なんだこいつ。
田中なんて比じゃない。
目的だったフェロモンの指輪は見つからず。
This is lame.
Ow!
You're lame.
So that's the contrived story and the crap characters, which leaves the world building. Every aspect of it makes me think the creators don't understand what the purpose of an isekai even is, as every element is thoughtlessly chucked into the show. There's only one typical forest biome with the same goblins, wolves and orcs we've seen before, an utterly generic guild with only the most basic of adventurers, a bog standard dungeon with all the implied rules, and the same circular city we've seen a dozen times before. It is so impressively lazy that they actually fucking forgot to draw the bloody river beyond the town's walls. Good grief. No attempt was made to incorporate this town with the environment around it, or indeed any element with any other element. What can I even say about this show? It's abundantly clear the creators had no intention of making a decent story. Instead, they just wanted to make an isekai, without any clue of what makes that compelling and fun. Creativity, exploration, character, awe, dichotomy, inventing, danger. It's all entirely absent from this mindless, lazy slop. So yeah, I don't exactly recommend.